at that age of 13 years old, when I was in my final semester in first grade at Charlemont High School, my life changed completely. As a 13-year-old living with my mother alone, I had to take up the responsibility of being a breadwinner at that age, to provide for the house, to make sure that we have food to eat, and to make sure that my mother was well taken care of at the age of 13. I have no idea how I handled it. You know, it must have been God that just gave me the strength to go through at that time. And so every morning I would wake up and make breakfast and cook dinner before I go to school in the morning. I would have to make sure that she gets her medication. I would have to make sure that I injected her with insulin, and I had to make sure that it was the right milligrams that I was injecting her with. At the age of 13, I had to be doing this, because there was no one else at the house to really administer these things. All my siblings were adults and they moved away and who did not live outside of the parish. I don't know where some of them went. And so I had to be there taking care of my mother and taking on certain responsibilities. So now, while going to high school in grade 7, I started to think, started to wonder, what can I do to provide? What can I do to help myself with lunch money? And so we had this freezer in the house. And I know that the people that sell fish in the Linstead market, they need ice to preserve the fish. And so I started making ice to sell to the fish vendors in Linstead market. And so I would wake up in the early mornings, go to the market with my mother, put her to sit down, and then went ahead and sell the ice in the early mornings, collect that money, and use that money to go to school. And so I would repeat that daily. But that wasn't enough. That was not a substantial income or a substantial amount of money to really help. And so I started a second job. And so on Saturdays I would work in a wholesale, a very popular wholesale in Kingston, in Linstead, sorry. And on Grandma, and when it was Christmas and all the kids were enjoying time with their mothers and with their family, I would be in the wholesale working. On Grand Market night, when, you know, the kids want to go out and buy toys and enjoy Christmas, I would be working in the wholesale. And I can remember working in the wholesale, and the boss had no mercy on me. She knew my situation. She knew that I had a sick mother at home that I have to go home to take care of. My mother used to stay home alone until I get there. It was just God's protection why, you know, nothing went wrong. And this lady, my boss, she had no mercy on me. And I remember on the 24th of December at 11:30 p.m. 2009, I started crying when I was at the wholesale because I'm not used to this. I'm working until the sun comes up, because you know that because it's Grand Market night, the business places, they open until Christmas morning. And I had to start crying, and that is when she saw me crying, and she was like, all right, go on. It was a really rough time for me. And at that time, I was getting $700 on those Saturdays to work. And her husband would see me on the road selling bad juice. I used to also sell Guinness, so I started my Guinness business. From ice to juice to Guinness, what a progress. And her husband would see me doing these things, and he said to me that he's going to increase my pay, but I should not tell his wife. And so every time I would get that $700, he would just meet me outside and give me an extra $500. And that $1,200 would take me throughout the week. I would, I was able to buy lunch, I was able to pay my fare, and, In 2010, my life changed again. So from taking care of my mother, skipping school sometimes to take her to the hospital, because many times she was admitted in the university hospital, sometimes in Spanish Town Hospital. She was admitted multiple times. And so I had to be taking her to doctor visits and taking her to the pharmacy, making sure that she, get the right medication. Sometimes I would have to be, explaining to the pharmacist that the ones that she got before, they're not working, and it's just making things worse. These medications led to her having liver problems, then kidney problems, and then she started having these sores and pus coming out of her skin. And she would be scratching and itching every day. And so I had to buy this special lotion. I don't remember the name of it. I think it's called calamine lotion or something. Yeah. And so I would be rubbing her skin with that every day. And that was not helping. I would have to scratch her back for her. Sometimes I would be trying to get rid of the pus on her skin, which I don't think that's the right thing to do. But I was just trying my best to do what I could. And I remember, even through all of that, she would just say to me that she just wanted to live to see me do well. Well, I don't know if she would have seen me do well, physically. But I understood what she was saying. And, every day when I would take care of her, she would always say, God, we're going to bless you, God. God, I'm going to bless you, my son. God, I'm going to bless you, and them are going to see you. Them are going to see you. And, each and every day I would even help to wash her clothes and cook for her. And till one day she decided that she was going to try and cook when I was not at the house, because she wanted to show her appreciation, I guess. And, we did not have any gas. So, we had to use the coal stove. Remember, she's blind at this point completely. And so she tried to light the fire, right? And she burned herself, she burned her hand. And believe it or not,